Hi everyone, my name is Lim Chong Lee, and today me and my group mates would like to share one of the contemporary issues arise today, which is the casual sex. I will talk about a little bit background of casual sex and why is casual sex became a contemporary issue in nowadays. So, what is casual sex actually means? Casual sex can be defined in a variety of ways, from non-committal relationship between friends to sexual encounters with strangers. In addition to the umbrella term of casual sex, terms like friends with benefits, hookups, and the more common term, one night stand, are used to describe the situation of casual sex. This is a survey data that stated the casual sex experience from 12,000 adults between the age of 18 to 49 in 21 countries. Casual sex isn't as common as it might seem based on the data. Among adults of age of 18 to 29, 29% have had a one-night stand and 50% have hooked up with multiple people within the same time period, and 30% have had a sexual experience with someone from work. So move on to the next slide. What is the impact of casual sex and why it became a controversial nowadays? The possible reason and the possible impacts will be emotional distress due to wanting more or sexual regrets. These will vary dramatically from person to person, essentially based on the mindset going into the encounter and personal history and expectation. Research shows that women tend to have a harder time than men when preventing emotional attachment. And when this happens, they are more prone to feeling used and feel depressed, regretful, or embarrassed after the fact. Apart from that, casual sex has increased girls' psychological distress. Also, casual sex increased their alcohol and drug consumption. Furthermore, casual sex carries with the risk of unplanned pregnancy, contracting sexually transmitted infection, and by physical or emotional harm from the partner, particularly the one is not really well known to the person. So these kind of moral issues and risk factors, including mental health problems, have proven that casual sex is becoming the contemporary issues in today's age.
One of the theories that can be used to understand why some people are okay with casual sex is the social exchange theory. Social exchange theory explains relationship that involves social exchange in which partners provide each other with desirable rewards. In this context that we are sharing right now, people agree to have casual sex because it allows them to satisfy each other's sexual needs. In this theory, independence theory is most often used by relationship scientists as the central elements of social exchange. Independence theory states that the outcome of an interaction is determined by the rewards and costs. The rewards of interactions are the gratifying experiences and commodities we obtain through our contact with others. In contrast, costs are punishing, undesirable experiences. While the outcome describes a person's net profit or loss of all things considered. So if an interaction is more rewarding than punishing, the outcome will obviously be a positive one. And the other way around, if it's more punishing than rewarding, it will turn out as a negative outcome, which people likely wouldn't want to commit in. Apart from that, the social exchange perspective asserts that people want the best possible outcomes. The simple fact that your interactions are profitable doesn't mean that they are good enough to keep you coming back to that partner. Indeed, one of the major insights of independence theory is its suggestion that whether your outcomes are positive or negative isn't nearly as important as how they compare to two criteria with which we evaluate the outcomes we receive. The first criterion involves our expectations, and the second involves our perceptions of how well we could manage without our current partner. So, all in all, this theory can be linked back to this topic as people deem casual sex as a positive outcome. In this situation, the rewards they are getting are that their sexual needs are satisfied, while in the meantime, the cost could only be as of buying condoms or maybe booking a place for their activity. It is deemed to provide a positive outcome for both parties because while getting their sexual needs satisfied, They don't have to play or maintain emotionally on anything else beyond the time they had sex.
Okay, so moving on, we have another theory that can be used to explain the prevalence of casual sex. So this theory is known as the investment model of commitment. So the investment model of commitment basically suggests that people will wish to remain with their present partners in three situations. The first situation is when they're happy, and the second one is when there's no other desirable place for them to go. And the third situation is when they won't leave because it would cost too much. So in the investment model of commitment, these influences are presumed to be equally important, and commitment emerges from the complex combination of all three. Thus, as people's circumstances change, relationships often survive periods in which one or both partners are dissatisfied, tempted by alluring alternatives, or free to walk out at any time. Episodes such as these may stress the relationship and weaken the partner's commitment, but the partnership may persist if the other components of commitment are holding it together. So here we have the first situation, when they're happy. In this situation, satisfaction increases commitment. So in this context, friends with benefits who are satisfied with each other's performance in bed will have higher commitment towards their relationship. This might explain why they keep looking for the same partner when they want to have sex. According to a study by Wonderdrift et al., sexual encounters in friends with benefits relationship can further the sexual component of the relationship without necessarily leading towards romantic relationship commitment or exclusivity. And then we have the second situation, when there's no other desirable place for them to go. In this situation, sexual partners are already familiar with each other's preferences. Therefore, changing partners may take time to rebuild their chemistry again. Furthermore, they might not be able to find someone else who is down for it. In a study conducted by Wonderdrift et al., it was found that only 5.8% of participants indicated that they wish to discontinue their current friends with benefits relationship.
Attachment emphasizes on the importance of the bond that develops between an infant and the primary caregiver, usually the mother. The bond between the infant and the mother eventually influences infant's future relationship. In adulthood, attachment styles used to describe the way of an adult related to others in a romantic relationship. Adults in romantic relationships are motivated by attachment, caregiving systems, as well as reproductive systems. These three systems work together to produce the sense of secure because individuals may feel worthwhile and effective in the context of sexual intimacy. There are four attachment styles: secure, preoccupied, missing avoidant, and fearful avoidant. There are two insecure attachments are found to be more likely to engage in casual sex. One is fearful avoidant, the other is dismissive avoidant. People who are fearful avoidant desire closeness, but the fear of rejection, hard to trust others, and develop a sense of personal insecurity. The lack of capacity of trust and attempting to minimizing the intimacy and closeness have led them to more likely to engage in casual sex. While people who are dismissive avoidant usually described as a cold person. Their dislike depend on others or have others depend on them. They have a positive sense of self but negative evaluation of others. People who are dismissive avoidant prefer non-committed or casual sexual relationship because they avoid intimacy and they believe to have a particular evolved capacity of strategically using others for sex. That's all from my side.
As mentioned above, individuals that has dismissive avoidance attachment style or preoccupied attachment style will have higher sexual promising and higher tendency to engage in casual sex. So they might face difficulties in developing trust or might not see the purpose of making a commitment in a meaningful relationship. So what they can do to help themselves to quit casual sex? One of the proposed solutions is the attachment therapy, or we call it attachment-based therapy. What is attachment therapy? It's a therapy that helps to explore the connection between an infant's early attachment experience with primary caregivers and their ability to form healthy emotional and physical relationships as an adult. Attachment therapy will usually help with those individuals who struggle to foster deep connection, such as those who struggle in casual sex relationships. So the aim for attachment therapy is to help them to develop or rebuild trust in a relationship. Besides, attachment therapy can usually help with individuals who struggle to make meaningful connection with others, such as casual sex relationship, and for those who feel distraught in relationship, especially when they become more intimate, and for those who worry that your partner doesn't love you enough despite of their words and action. And lastly, for those who find themselves a serial dater because they are afraid of being alone. So attachment therapy can help to address issues from childhood that impact current ability to form a meaningful relationship as an adult. It also helps to give a sense of security in relationship with your partner. Some individuals might think that they don't need attachment therapy right now, but they do want to change their attachment style in order to improve their relationship or in order to stop or quit casual sex relationship. So here is some tips of changing attachment style. Firstly, is to keep an emotions journal. It's always important to always reflect and be aware of your feelings or thoughts in your relationship so that you can identify the patterns. Besides, you can also communicate openly. You can learn to be assertive by communicating or talking about your own feelings, and also try to avoid hiding feelings or being passive aggressive in relationship. And lastly, you can also raise your self-esteem. Raising self-esteem doesn't mean that you have to have a 360-degree change or be very confident. You can always start with small things such as learning to accept yourself or acknowledging yourself more often. As a conclusion, casual sex relationships often bring negative impacts such as emotional and psychological distress and having trouble in developing a normal or long-term relationship. It is often not your fault if you develop a casual sex relationship. It's more important to understand and have the awareness of what you are doing currently and what is the root cause. For example, you can see what is the outcome of your relationship, how is your commitment in your relationship, and see what is your attachment style. Lastly, you can always seek for help if you needed to, such as looking for the therapy around you. That's all for our presentation. Thank you.